Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLESFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOURFRINDS and Philadelphia EAGLESFANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If there's one thing we know about the Philadelphia Eagles, it's that they are always in the mix, always competing at the highest level. The 2023 season was nothing short of historic, and it's safe to say that this team has set the bar incredibly high for themselves. After making a statement with their dominant Super Bowl appearance, the Eagles are now in a position where they need to be strategic in the offseason, especially in free agency, to ensure they stay at the top. The NFL landscape is constantly shifting, and the Eagles, like any team with championship ambitions, are actively working to reinforce their roster, not just to defend their title, but to build an even more formidable team for the future. Philadelphia's core was exceptional last year, with players like Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and the entire offensive line playing at an elite level. Their defense, led by stars such as Darius Slay and Fletcher Cox, was also a key factor in their success. But as we all know, in the NFL, continuity is vital, yet adding fresh talent and veteran leadership can make all the difference when you're trying to repeat as champions. The Eagles are doing just that. They're staying active in the free agent market, looking to retain as many of their key players as possible while also identifying strategic additions that can elevate the team's chances of going back-to-back. One of the biggest challenges for any reigning Super Bowl champion is maintaining that competitive edge while facing the inevitable adjustments that come with roster changes, injuries, and the sheer unpredictability of the league. The Eagles understand this all too well. They are aware that to keep their dynasty alive, they need to strike a perfect balance between holding on to their foundational pieces and bringing in veteran contributors who can provide leadership, experience, and a spark of motivation in the locker room. This is a team that doesn't rest on its laurels. Instead, they're always looking ahead, always planning their next move. In this context, one name that's been circulating as a potential addition is Von Miller. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Von Miller, isn't he a bit past his prime? But let's take a closer look at what he can bring to the table, especially in a team like the Eagles that values veteran savvy and leadership. Miller, who once was considered one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league, has seen his production dip a bit, but his experience and football IQ are still off the charts. He's a player who has been there, done that, and won multiple Super Bowls, most notably with the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Rams. The idea of bringing in Miller isn't just about what he can do on the field right now, it's about what he represents: leadership, a winning mentality, and a veteran presence that can help guide the younger players. Remember last season, Miller still managed to rack up 6 sacks in a limited role, and the season before that he had 8. Those numbers might not jump off the page like they did in his prime, but in the right situational roles, Miller can still be a disruptive force. His pass rushing ability, combined with his understanding of the game, makes him a valuable piece in a rotational capacity, especially for a team like the Eagles that has a deep and talented defensive front. And let's not forget about the context of the NFL right now. The league is more competitive than ever, with teams constantly finding ways to reinvent themselves, to evolve their rosters, and to stay ahead of the game. The Patriots and Chiefs, for example, have long been masters of this art, constantly adjusting, constantly upgrading, always trying to stay one step ahead of the competition. The Eagles, with their recent success, are now in that same conversation. They're not just trying to defend a title, they want to establish a sustained dynasty. That requires smart moves, strategic signings, and sometimes under-the-radar additions like Von Miller. Signing Miller wouldn't break the bank for Philadelphia, especially considering the salary cap constraints and their current roster needs. It's a move that fits well within their budget, and it could turn out to be one of those underrated moves that have a huge impact. Think about it: a veteran pass rusher who can come in during critical moments, provide leadership in the locker room, and help mentor the younger pass rushers like Josh Sweat and Jordan Davis. It's about creating a culture of winning, and Miller's presence would send a strong message to the entire team. This is a group that's committed to excellence, that's hungry for another ring, and that's willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Now, I know some of you might be wondering, but what about his age? Yes, age is a factor. Miller is no longer the young, explosive pass rusher he was in his heyday. But in football, experience and football IQ often outweigh raw athleticism, especially in specific roles. Plus, with the Eagles' defensive scheme built around versatility and strategic pass rushing, Miller can be used in situations where his knowledge of the game can be maximized. It's about smart deployment, using him in short bursts, in key third-down situations, or in passing situations where his pass-rushing moves still cause problems for offensive linemen. What's really compelling about this potential signing is the message it sends. It's about a team that's serious about maintaining its dominance and about adding those glue guys who can make a difference in the most critical moments. The Eagles already have a talented roster, but adding a veteran like Miller could give them that extra edge, that extra juice heading into the 2025 season. It's also about the locker room culture, having players who have been through the wars, who know what it takes to win, and who can instill that mindset in others. Beyond just Von Miller, the Eagles are expected to be aggressive in their pursuit of other veteran free agents. They're looking to add depth at linebacker, bolster their secondary, and perhaps even reinforce the offensive line. The goal is clear: build a team that's not just good enough to win the NFC, but capable of dominating the league again. The NFC East is no longer the weak division it once was. Teams like the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders are all making moves, and the Eagles need to respond in kind. The franchise's recent history shows how well they've handled roster management, and this offseason seems to be no different. They're balancing the desire to keep their core intact with the need to adapt and improve. The coaching staff, led by Nick Sirianni, is known for their smart approach, focusing on player development, game planning, and strategic signings. They understand that to be champions again, they need to be meticulous, precise, and sometimes bold. Looking at the bigger picture, the Philadelphia Eagles are well positioned to keep competing at an elite level. Their front office has done a fantastic job of building a talented roster, and with the right veteran additions, they could push even further. The defense, which was already formidable, could get a boost from the experience of a player like Miller. On offense, the continuity with Jalen Hurts and his weapons means they're always a threat. The key now is to make sure the depth and leadership are in place to sustain a long playoff run, and that's where veterans like Miller come into play. So as the Eagles prepare for the upcoming season, fans should be excited about the prospects. The team is clearly aware of what it takes to stay on top, and the moves they're making show that they're committed to that goal. Of course, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL. Injuries, surprises, and unforeseen challenges always happen, but the mindset is there and the roster is shaping up to be one of the most competitive in recent memory. If they manage to add a player like Von Miller, even in a limited role, it could be the difference maker that propels them back into Super Bowl contention. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think signing Miller is a smart move, or would you prefer the team to focus on other areas? Remember, the offseason is just getting started and the Eagles are not done yet. Keep your eyes peeled because more updates, rumors, and news are coming soon. I'll be here to break it all down for you, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. And don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your fellow fans, because we're building a community that lives and breathes Eagles football. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Birds.